Hi. We'll be doing a short stream, I think. We'll be doing automatic enums. And a few days I was actually wanting to group some things here. So what I will do here is I'll move all the Kairos stuff to a Kairos folder. This, RAM. Kairos, maybe AI test as well. We'll just name all of them in a sec. Just need to fix. Just need to fix some. Doesn't exactly. Justy doesn't actually want to cooperate, unfortunately. So if this is now included, I guess it would serve me if I did it manually in Visual Studio. This is like one small thing to make this refactored, but what I wanted to also do is probably almost type JAI. Oh. XT. And I can now move it to Kairos again. Okay. And I will not compile to fix some errors. I would be really fucking amazed if it did compile though. This will be utility.h parser Alexer array. And I think ideal state of the compiler would be if it didn't have dependencies on Antikythera, right? But and just Antikythera would call some utility stuff, like adding the native funcs and adding enums and stuff like that. And I don't know how much possible that is, since I would probably have to mirror things like linked list and memory arena and strings and probably a few other things. One at a time. Okay, I think that's it. And one other thing I would want to do is probably merge all of the temporary structures. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do that today. And also just this is not that important anyways. Or rather restructure files, maybe. Should be fine. Okay. And now what I want to do is in runtime. Nice thing about this system, a more hard-coded one, is that you just get an enum with ID, and otherwise it might be a bit difficult. I'm not sure if I even want to make print a native. I don't know if there will be more native functions that have arbitrary amount of arguments. Not sure. This is probably define native symbols actually. Symbols. Right? And what I will make is, I think this makes sense to be in the order that it is usually called, so it'll be something like that, right? And now another thing would be static. Enum, make enum. Say string name. This probably involves actually allocating it, right? Because when I look at a symbol, it actually stores an enum. This could really just be this, right? Maybe what I do instead is store an enum type like this and store an enum here. Say, I don't know. It's kind of dumb. Probably not. Function type might need more stuff, although it might also be in the literal. I mean, technically the types is stored here. This is sort of like a complete type definition. I think what I'll do is actually just doing this function. Right? And maybe variable slot can hold runtime type. Does that make sense? Probably does. So this means anytime this is used, we want to remove the type from there. In a case of identifier, it doesn't have a type, but maybe it should. Maybe it should. Why not name it fuck? I only have 16 errors. And you can see how convenient errors are. I just click an error and I know. And I know I can just use it. I think that's very convenient, the thing that we store the type with the slot, because that will probably mean we can save ourselves some lookups. Since we mirror the slot sometimes. So here, actually, this would be slot. Like this, I think. Right? No, it's just more like this, probably. Yeah. Another kind of symbol that we might want to declare is a variable, specifically a global. It'd be something I want to expose to Antikythera, so that can be set. It's actually like this, and it's slot, not stud. Do I even stream? I do. Okay, cool. Okay, so here we would say slot type. Fine. Actually, this is convenient because here I don't have to pass the type. Seems like. Do we even have a thing called variable? I don't think so. This can't just be called variable. So this would be var. Var. The question is, do we want to store this as a variable? Don't we? Wouldn't we rather store this as a pointer? Is my question. And yeah, that makes sense. In case of a declare, that's probably where we would want to own the variable. I think. So it just gets replaced by var. Yeah, in that case, actually, that's when we would use. That's when we would use a slot because functions still have a slot. Slot. This is where we don't need an address of anymore. Yeah, I'm happy with this refactoring. I think that's what we needed to be. Here you'd say var. A bit of a weird thing is that it doesn't allocate a variable, but the way we use native functions is native functions don't care about SP, they just get a pointer to the first var and the count as array and the count of forms. Okay. Something to note. Var. This is one that I'm not sure about because here I don't need this store a name. Params also don't care about the SP because they that's kind of sus. I actually don't know if that's correct. I think what needs to happen here is var slot. So print variable slot is definitely incorrect because it should be print var. Var. So anytime we have a variable pointer, so maybe even what I do is have like a variable ref, right? And we would have string name and we would have variable, right? So now anytime we used to have this, we would use variable ref. We would say var ref maybe. Uh, okay. Now actually what we would eventually have is like a resolve variable ref. It actually is really fucking convenient because we'll reuse some code instead of having to do it over and over again, right? I think we introduced some crashes here now, which we have to be careful about. So this is print var actually, print var, and it's this is what we would need to do, but I actually will add static void print var ref, say variable ref, and now if ref var, then we say this, otherwise we say, so in this case we say label ref, right? On the reference, and otherwise we would just say ref name and nothing more. I kinda assume that this actually gets never called because parser doesn't actually resolve variables, but so I'll probably say just this. Print var around var and var print var ref sign ref print var ref. Okay. So this I can just replace with variable var. And actually, I kind of want something here, so this will be static find resolve var ref. Get the resolver for error printing if we need to. And we will get the type scope. And we will get the variable ref, right? And we'll find symbol solver type scope token ref name. Symbol type is of kind variable, and we'll check for scopes, right? This is our symbol. And we need a lex token for the sake of having something to print for debugging. And for symbol, we'll say if no symbol, say resolver error solver unable to resolve variable reference. And otherwise, what we do is we just say ref var equals symbol var. And since we use expect, we already know the type is symbol variable, and otherwise the symbol will just be null. So that's how it works. Okay, we only have a few to go. Identifier slan. So this would be identifier. Okay, so here what we do actually is resolve var ref. We say resolver. We say type scope. We say expression token, and we say symbol, or rather, we just say expression identifier ref like this. This is all we need for this. And now if this is set, and if the var and if this is set, we will say expression result type equals var type like this, right? I think I will just say that here. We'll say return ref symbol var, and here actually I forgot to return, but we'll return 0 here. So now instead of doing that, I can just say this, right? And I guess if I wanted to be fancy, I could even say this. This is interesting, honestly. I feel like annotation of that kind like conveys a special kind of meaning where you like intuitively can see that something is equal to other thing, but I don't know. I'm not really sold on using that. This language doesn't even have that supported because assignments are statements, not expressions. I think JI does the same thing. Pretty sure. We could also have. You could also potentially have like a function ref. Same way we have this, right? And maybe that's the right way to go. Function ref. Function. Function literal can just be renamed to function, I think. Okay. Anytime we have a function literal, I will just replace that with straight up function. It seems to be only once. Okay. Oh. This actually makes more sense if it's called runtime function, honestly. This is function, function. I don't know why I deleted that. This probably should be named current function. Current function. Because we have so many errors, Visual Studio is just incapable of doing anything. Which is unfortunate. Function. I think in Resolver, that's where we will have our, obviously function. Each rule is just now a function. I want to actually replace. I don't know why enter doesn't do that. It's pretty unfortunate. Here we will say current function. And here we will just say type scope current function. Okay. And here's where we resolve varref. Resolver type scope token statement token. Statement assign ref. This needs to be a pointer. Okay. And we'll say variable var equals this, right? And now if var, what we say is of course we want to resolve the expression anyways, but var type is the auto casting thing. So this is where we also use this. Var. And this literally needs a copy paste because it is literally a copy paste, which is fucking annoying, honestly. But it just needs this. I think this is compilable now. It isn't because some things didn't get renamed, even though I asked Visual Studio to rename it. Anyways, that's good. Now what we need is support for function ref and also enum ref. Enum. Enum ref is actually enum ref doesn't really make that much of a sense. Function refs, so suggest them once. So those are not common enough for me to bother, I don't think. I mean, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I could make this consistent abstraction, blah blah blah. Maybe it's great, but if it's only used once, then there's actually just more complexity, right? So might not be worth it. But what I want to do now is actually add the enums. So make enum, we'll make an enum. Enum like this. Let's say enum. That's it. Now static point add enum value will be enum. And value is just, so we have key and we have a 64 value, right? And what we will need to also pass is the arena, I think. I think passing arena as the first param kinda makes sense. Although I usually like the subject of an operation to be first. And having it as a second one seems like awkward. So I was thinking also doing the last one maybe makes sense, but also maybe none. I'm not sure. I will try the first one for this. And now what we do is actually push an enum value like this. Save value. And apparently it's not. Oh. Okay, we don't need that. What we need is just we don't need the arena actually because we use a hash map for storage. So we'll say hash map and enum values key and value as a void star. No static void and enum. Just like that, and this is basically equivalent to this, except this is of type enum, and the value is enum equals enum, just like that, and we'll use enum name. Okay. So now what we need to do is actually loop over the game state, or rather game data unit. Let's say mm. And really, well, let's first make this work. So we'll say make enum arena, say string length, game data unit names, data I like this. Although we'll actually we'll make this here, right? String name equals this because the name will actually want to modify because currently it's like Mave XD or like it would be a Terran Maverick, right? And we want we want no spaces. What I could do fairly easily is probably this, but I want no spaces. I think that's better. So I have to allocate them. That's just fine. The arena this uses, I think, is a temporary one anyways. So it gets nicely cleared after the program is compiled. So that's neat. Well, so the way automatic enums work is we basically automatically generate enums based on what the game needs for the scripting language. So let's say the game loads like a list of unit IDs, right, or of units for an RTS game. And what automatic enums would do is basically instead of you having to define them, it would automatically generate and like saying unit ID Maverick or Terran Maverick or Terran Marine if you are thinking of classic Brood War is equals to 0 or whatever, right? That's basically what it would mean in this case. That's what I'm doing. I should probably have more wordy titles for the Twitch sake, but I generate them based on what the game actually has. I don't know what Access would. But they would be pre-generated. They wouldn't be generated on Access. They would be generated automatically when a script is compiled, basically. Okay, and now what we need is add enum value. Oh, actually, this enum is very simple because it's a stringlet unit ID, like this. And now to that enum, we add a key name, and value would be I, like this. And here we would say add enum value arena enum. No, that's just add enum. It's type scope arena and the enum. So it almost works. What I will do is I will hard code an ID 0 to be none. So unit ID none is 0. And that's because I don't think I actually assign an ID name for unit ID none. I might be wrong, but I don't actually remember. And what I want to take is a unit ID name. And I think what I will do is I will allocate. Maybe just allocating a buffer is fine. No. I want to push something, so maybe doing it on a buffer is fine, and then copying to arena is what we want. And now what the buffer would do, what I would do is your name size. So this is like original name, maybe. Now let's say if original name size is greater than 250, greater or equal to 256, probably should define it as a constant. I don't even know if I don't have like max name. Yeah, sure, that's something that I use. And in this case, we'd continue, and we probably would have resolver error. No, we don't even have that. Maybe, wait, isn't this? Yeah, we don't have anything. Should log something. I mean, this shouldn't even be possible. Should be unreachable. Since names should never go past max name. Okay. And now what this would do is a push string arena buffer done. Char C is original name data I. And now if C equals a space, or maybe even say this is space C, then we continue. Also store a buffer size variable. Start it at 0. And then actually this is not even necessary. What I will just do is say if buffer size is greater than max name, should be unreachable. Fine. What I want here is this. I want to make this. I wouldn't want to add an empty string. I think that would be a problem. Okay. And what we set is buffer size plus equals equals to this character, right? And now The question is, should we automatically Pascalify and we'll say maybe yes. To upper was true, and now if to upper, say C equals to upper C, plus Y will say to lower. Another thing that we can't skip is underscore. I don't think I use underscores currently, but maybe someone would be so ambitious to put them in the name, so I would rather not. Okay, and now if to upper is set to true, you would set it to false to for the next iteration. And anytime we skip a space or a semicolon, we would set it to true as well. Okay, and now instead of doing a push string of this kind, we probably make a string. Do we have a make string or something? Make string. Should have a make string and buffer size like this. So we have string literal for C literals, but when we know the size is actually when we would want to use something more explicit where we would say size. String size equals size, string data equals C string, return string. Maybe what we even say is data like this. Okay. That makes a string and then copies it on the arena. And that should make our automatic enums. Let's see if it works. Now let's run the game. Yeah, okay, I had a call. So what we have now is we want to disable it. I actually don't know what kind of unit IDs do we have, but I'll say unit ID. I'll check the repo. So this is wrong. Let's see. Data. I actually remembered yesterday we have a replay support, and that's really neat. Units. Okay, so what do we have? We have the race I'm looking for is so let's say actor manifest. I'll also see actor orbit like this. Actually, it seems like what I want to use because names are actually the name won't just be orbit, and I think we want the prefix. Maybe what I do is I do both, right? So it makes sense. So in Kinative, you would say static string, and I'll say Pascalify. Arena string name. And what I would move it is I would move it here. And then I would return a push arena of string make buffer size. So actually, I think I will support both. That might make sense. This is push string is what I'm thinking of, and make string is what I'm thinking of. Okay. Scalify. So what I will do here is I will have arena. I will both use the unit name and the unit ID name. And in the case this is null, I would say return nothing. And for that case, I would say string ID name equals this and short name equals this. And now, oh, that's obviously incorrect. You can't return. You can, but that's actually a problem. That's because of those stupid implicit constructors. That would try to stringlen a 0. Oh no, that would actually just be a 0. So technically that works, but it's kinda stupid. Say this, right? Can check for size as well. It's also fine. Yeah, I would want to name it like this ID name. Okay. Now, actually, what I should be able to say is like equals orbit, right? And here we would be able to say equals unit ID manifest, right? Now, let's hope that works. Fingers crossed. But no, it doesn't. It says invalid enum subname, which is interesting. The thing that I have not really tested is my refactoring. Everything could be broken. It isn't. Okay. That's nice. That means I sort of know what I'm doing. But now invalid enum subname is what we have. Invalid enum subname. Let's see why that is. Okay. So, we have not added them apparently. Let's see why. Oh. Well, you know, if you download the units, you will not have units, right? So what I need to do is move this code after load game data. And honestly, I can probably just say this. False. And now we have something. Okay. I dislike the file that points to the unit ID and not this part. It's better than nothing. Oh. It's because I didn't update this to use ID names instead. That's why only 2 were broken, not all of them. But now you can see something interesting because it seems that our first one is wrong. Let's see why that is. Where should we be? We should be in Kairos. So manifest and actor manifest are not the same. And I think the reason is, yes, we have Psychora manifest for Zipalpa. So what I think really what should happen probably is not have lady names. Maybe that's fine. Don't know. So when we did the hash map and we find the thing, right? We never replace, we never override. That's our behavior currently. Maybe that should be modified. I don't know. But currently I feel like it doesn't make sense to use non-ID names. Just use those. And yeah, I think that's done for today. We have automatic enums. And we also did some refactoring, so I think that's a good amount of work. It's about the time I have to finish. Say progress from stream 16 May 2023. We'll say automatic enums, unit ID enums. Okay. Yeah, I am not consistent with my style. I think I'll just stick to the semicolon since I started using that fairly recently. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Good amount of refactoring, good amount of new features. Rather, it's like kind of one new feature, but is that or is this no longer? Is it not stable? It is not stable. Right. Anyways, yesterday we had runtime erroring. Today we had unity enums. Now let's actually grab this script from here, right? See what it does. So, oh yeah, let's do priorities real quick. We'll say priority. Priority, right? We'll add the enum, and what we'll add is we'll add a bunch of stuff. Very high will be 4. Or actually, very high, I think, will just be medium, low, very low. You know, a suggestion to rename very high to panic. But maybe what I do is actually make panic yet another thing. Not sure. We'll evaluate all of those when we actually get to use them, I think. And one other thing probably I would want to do. Let me see. So automatic unit AD and priority enums generation. But what I would want is make enums strongly typed. Treat like integers on runtime, but make sure to catch syntax potential syntax errors when no casting is involved. So if we say make one unit ID Maverick, I don't know, priority medium. Did I name it medium or did I name it normal? I want a medium. Okay, yeah. So if we have this, that's fine. But if we say this, it's not really fine. I would want this to be explicitly casted. So this would look like this, which is kind of silly, of course, but that's probably what we want. I mean, maybe this is fine. So allow operations on enums, right? That's probably fine. But what I would disallow is saying like 1, 2, 3, and we'll say disallow random numbers instead of enum. Unless it's casted. Normal enum usage, right? So this is sort of what I would want to fight against. But I don't think that needs to happen like right this second. Or even like the next few days, because really what we care about is implementing make. Implementing train time, and implementing unit count, which this is like Q unit for unit building for production in any town. This is like return train time of unit ID. This probably needs to be unit ID like this. Unit ID. Probably move them up like this. Here's for unimportant things that should only happen if everything else is done. Honestly, I could see a world where tech would be low and production would be. So maybe I would say is for important for time sensitive tech, and it's for additional tech only for when we can afford it despite all else, right? Something like this. That could work. I don't know though, because it's like as a general rule, I could see this working, right? Like you always want to make workers, you almost always want to work. I mean, like probably sometimes you would want to like swap them or something, right? So my idea was that maybe we have like an idea of queues. So say consider queue army. Say queue workers army tag. To say urgent tag. Just tag. Consider queues and whatever, and this would be panic rather defense, right? Defense. There's something I missed. Workers, army, production, right? And then we would have set queue priority, right? Which would be queue priority, right? This can be just like that, just like that. That would be return total unit count any town. Own units any town. Like this. Eventually we would probably want something like make town, right? And we would say count and unit ID priority, and we would just say town ID maybe, I don't know, and like consider it's probably what we would do. And armies is something I'll have to think about. Original idea was to make armies be this like complicated thing. But maybe for now we just use something very similar to attack ad. We should investigate the army concept at some point, but for now, some attack ad style API is probably enough. Okay. Consider passing queue type to make instead of priority and manage and then manage queue priority at any time. That's what I would say. I know. We'll think about that. We'll see what common patterns arise when we actually make scripts in this. And yeah, I'm pretty happy. Starts to look like a language that we can use already. You just need to implement make train time and unit count, honestly. And that's when we actually can make build orders. Just not very you can't very it's not very precise in terms of like where to place stuff and how to do stuff, and also can't really manage defense or other things. We don't have like I wanted to have like globals which say like enemy advantage or something, or like enemy air fraction or something. And to do internal AI bars. Like okay. This AI script I should move to 20 guitar, I think. Okay. So git comment on AI script sample AI script with to-do list run. And when we have that, we can finally run the game and have scripts actually also do things instead of just being like this console thing we have been stuck on. But yeah, that's really epic, I think. Can't wait for more. And I will see you guys tomorrow.